Greetings to my brothers and sisters all over the world. Let's look at a scientific explanation of ego and ignorance in this video. The brain has memory but no data at the time of birth. We fill the memory with information we perceive through senses. To understand how the memory in the brain gets filled with information, we should first understand about the neurons. Neuron is the basic building block of brain's neural network. It stores and transmits information. Human brain has 9 billion neurons approximately. These neurons connect to each other, forming a huge network for processing and transmitting information. Here is a sample image of a number of neurons connecting to each other, forming a huge network. Brain's neural networks are quite dense. There are 9 billion neurons approximately connected to each other for processing various types of information. To understand how the perceived information gets into it, stored and processed is quite a complicated concept. Let's try to understand it with simple examples. As we perceive the world around us, we store the data in a neural network as objects, their attributes, and their relations. This is called Vritti. Let us take examples of four simple facts perceived by a little girl Dhanya and see how they get into her brain's neural network. The first fact that Dhanya is perceiving is mother likes me. Here, mother is one object, me is the second object, and they are related with likes. The second fact that Dhanya is perceiving is dad bought me a bicycle and I like it. Here, dad is one object, me is another object, and bicycle is the third object, and they are linked with relations like this. The third fact is Lalita cried when she fell from the bicycle. Her mother was upset with that. So here Lalita's mother are different objects and they are related with relations like this. The fourth fact is mother and Lalita's mother are friends. So this is stored in Dhanya's brain like this. Mother is one object, Lalita's mother is another object, and there is a relation between them which is connecting both of them, and the relation is called friends. Here you can see how a few simple perceived facts got stored into an information network inside Dhanya's brain. Now using her creative imagination, Dhanya multiplies that data by adding more connections and objects to it. This is called pravritti. Data added as part of pravritti is not perceived directly. It is added from creative imagination. Let's look at some examples of pravritti. Lalita is my best friend. This is Dhanya's imagination. So that is why it is called pravritti. And you can see there is a new connection being added between Lalita and I, and the relation is best friend. So this is how Dhanya is adding new information out of her creative imagination. This is not a fact that she perceived clearly from the outer world. Another example of pravritti is this is my bicycle, and you can see how it is being added. Like there is a relation being added, is relation between I and bicycle. Lalita also likes bicycle. Another example of pravritti where like Lalita likes bicycle. The relationship is being added out of creative imagination. Lalita's mother likes me. Again, another example of pravritti. She is imagining and adding these relations. I have the best bicycle. By adding these extra connections, Dhanya made her information network more dense. Now, Dhanya further enriches each of these objects with sensory inputs like images, sounds, names, and other observable features. Like here you can see images of her mother are added to the mother node, and the name of a mother is added to her image. Similarly, the images of her bicycle are added to the bicycle node, and the name of the bicycle is added. Similarly, she has added images of all her friends, mother, dad, and their names, etc. This is how the information networks in the brain expand and multiply. An interesting thing to observe is I, me, mine has become the center of Dhanya's information network. It is the object with most number of connections. She did not do it consciously, but as she started perceiving the outer world from her perspective, I, me, mine automatically became the center of her information network. This is a very important thing to observe because decision making in information networks hover around central nodes. So that means Dhanya's decision making hovers around I, me, mine. That means her thoughts are unconsciously becoming self-centered. Continuing on this, similar to how Dhanya assigned physical attributes to various objects, she assigns physical attributes to I, me, mine as well. Initially, she will assign images of how do I look like and what am I called. After some time, she realizes her gender. Then she assigns I'm a female to I, me, mine. Then gradually she assigns attributes like nationality, religion, community, etc. to I, me, mine. The sum of all these physical attributes define her identity. Ego is to have I, me, mine at the center of the mighty neural network that stores and processes all the information pertaining to you. And ignorance is to think that I, me, mine is confined to some mere perceivable objects in the creation. To overcome ego, you need to carefully remove I, me, mine from the center of your neural network. And to come out of ignorance, you should stop confining I to mere perceivable objects. This is exactly what Gayatri Mantra does. It establishes the self-luminous soul at the center and inspires your intellect towards it. Under such inspiration, your intellect will never plunge into ignorance, as it replaces I, me, mine with the self-luminous soul at the center of your information network. Your thoughts will not be self-centered anymore. They get free from the body-mind complex. This is the stepping stone for success in everyone's life. By chanting Gayatri Mantra, you will be able to modify your mental patterns and make them centered around God instead of I, me, mine. Then you will automatically overcome the ego and its vices. You will come out of ignorance. I want to stress on one important aspect here. Many people think that ignorance is their problem. But according to me, not having the power and protection of Gayatri Mantra is the real problem. Imagine you're surrounded by a bunch of barking dogs. As the dogs are barking at you, what would you look for? A stick in your hand, right? Similarly, you are surrounded by ignorance everywhere. What you need is the power of Gayatri within you. Then you automatically shielded from ignorance and you will come out of ego. Thus, I would like to conclude this video by stressing upon the importance of Gayatri meditation in one's daily routine. My humble pranams to Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Sri Adi Shankaracharya, Sri Bharati Tirtha Swami, Sri Vidhusekara Bharati, and Sri Vishwanathan Garu, who initiated Gayatri worship to me. Sadasiva Samarambham, Shankaracharya Madhyamam, Asmadacharya Paryantam, Vande Guru Paramparam. I wish you've learned something important and interesting in this video. To know more about the Gayatri Tattva, theory of cognizance, how we perform various mental patterns, the Panchakona technique to solve all complicated problems, please read my book Playing the Vallaki. The description has the link for it. I wish you have a good time until we meet again. Thanks for watching.